There's been 3,481 new infections announced today, 32 COVID-related deaths in the past 24 hours. 951 of today's cases come from Thailand's prisons. There's a lot more details and provincial totals at thetiger.com. Also, a quick note that we're starting our new Good Morning Thailand program on Monday morning. It'll come out around 10 a.m. each morning, but we'll be in soft launch mode next week, so good luck to us. And a shout out to Fred Robert Munga. Thank you very much for being a Thaiger legend. We'll now get started with the news. The province of Chon Buri, just east of Bangkok, has reported a big jump in COVID cases today. Some 127 new infections found, mostly among migrant workers. This is up from just 65 new cases yesterday. Of today's 127 new cases, most are from a cluster at a factory where 86 infections were found. A smaller outbreak was reported at a migrant worker camp with 9 cases, while there were also cases of family transmission and 1 case of close contact with an infected patient from Bangkok. Chon Buri officials are also carrying out proactive mass testing at industrial estates and other high-risk workplaces where employees have contact with the general public. This includes supermarkets, on public transport and in restaurants. Well, just reading the tea leaves, it looks like there could be a further increase from cases out of Chon Buri over the next few days. In a global COVID-19 immunisation campaign, China has sent vaccine doses to Thailand to have Chinese citizens inoculated under Beijing's Spring Sprout program. A vaccination site under the program is already up and running in Bangkok. China had donated 500,000 doses, and Thailand then agreed to vaccinate Chinese expats as part of the deal. Around 150,000 Chinese nationals live in Thailand. Spring Sprout launched in March, and so far more than 500,000 Chinese nationals in more than 120 countries have been inoculated. While China is now providing vaccine doses to those overseas, Thailand has been slow to roll out its national vaccine campaign, with only 1 to 2% of the country's 70 million people fully vaccinated against the coronavirus, although places like Phuket and Koh Samui have reached vaccination rates over 20%. And whilst China has leveraged its donations for Thailand's COVID vaccine efforts, other countries' embassies are not assisting their citizens. The Australian government contributed 68 million baht for Thailand's vaccine efforts at the start of the month, but with no similar leverage for the Thai government to include Australian citizens as part of the donation. Just some breaking news just in. Foreigners living in Thailand will be able to register for a COVID-19 vaccine starting June the 7th, the first day of the country's mass vaccination campaign. The story says that foreigners can register for a vaccine on site at hospitals. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs recommends that expats register for a vaccine at a hospital that has their health records on file. So somewhere that you've visited before. Expats will need a passport, work permit or social security number as a form of identification when registering for the vaccine. The Foreign Affairs spokesperson said that no one is safe in Thailand until everyone is safe, until everyone is vaccinated. Of course, we'll have the latest update on that story at thetiger.com. From today, if you're travelling to Chiang Rai from any part of the 4 dark red central provinces, that's Bangkok, Nonthaburi, Pathum Thani and Samut Prakan, things just got a little trickier. The Northern Province has introduced tough disease prevention measures for visitors from the strictly controlled zones, which will apply to Chiang Rai residents arriving home from those provinces. The Chiang Rai governor says arrivals from the high-risk provinces will need to produce a COVID-free certificate confirming that they've tested negative in the past 72 hours before their arrival in Chiang Rai. They'll also be required to prove they've had 2 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine. In the event that travellers cannot provide both or either certificate, they will need to undergo mandatory 14-day local quarantine, although this will be reduced in the event of shorter stays in the province. Not sure how all that works. Elsewhere in Thailand, officials in the northeast province of Nakhon Ratchasima have sealed off 3 villages in the district to limit the spread of COVID. The villages will remain closed off until June the 2nd after 12 people were found to be infected. Officials are also monitoring an outbreak of the virus at a local factory. Health officials have so far screened around 81% of the 800 workers, with 60 testing positive. We'll be back right after this break. This episode of Thailand News Today is sponsored by RE Marketing. This is the same company the Thaiger uses for all our SEO, marketing and web traffic requirements. The Thaiger's also offering huge discounts on all marketing campaigns right now. Details in the description below. A dog owner is reeling after his beloved pet brought him a gift of 2,000 methamphetamine pills. The owner says the dog brought a mysterious package to a car garage in Udon Thani. He immediately notified police, who arrived to find the 2-year-old white dog named Sunil. Police say the drugs were in a black package wrapped with clear tape inside a white plastic bag. While police were looking at the package, they say a man who was parked near the garage was acting suspiciously. The man had a phone in his hand and went looking around the gate. Police took notice and invited him to the police station, but later released him due to having no evidence against him. The 59-year-old garage owner says he saw 2 men on motorbikes 2 days before, searching the area with flashlights on their helmets, but the dog chased them away. At first, the owner says he thought the men were looking for fish, but he found it strange that they were circling the area. The next morning is when the dog arrived with a white bag in his mouth and dropped it off in front of the owner. So far, no one's been arrested in connection with the package. Good dog, Sunil. Sit. A Chinese man with citizenship based in Saint Kitts and Nevis is now under arrest after shooting and injuring 2 Pattaya police officers who were trying to reprimand him over an online gambling syndicate. The 35-year-old pulled a machine gun on the transnational crime team as they went to serve him with an arrest warrant. Members of the SWAT Special Police Task Force entered the premises where he was staying and arrested him after the shooting. 8 other people, including 5 Chinese nationals and 2 maids, presumably Thai, were also detained. The man was charged with shooting 2 police officers. One of them sustained 3 gunshot wounds to his shoulder, stomach and chest. The other was shot in the right leg. Both were taken to hospital. 18 million baht in cash and assets was seized in the raid. Finally, we'd ask you to check on a nice little video we did about the Bangkok Community Help Project, also on the Thaiger YouTube channel. There's some awesome work being done by volunteers around the country to help their local communities get through this mess. The story of Friso and Greg is just one of them, and we think you're all amazing. And with that, we thank you very much for watching The Thaiger. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got our new program, Good Morning Thailand, starting next week. Have a fantastic weekend, and we do look forward to seeing you again next week.
It's a community based out of all kinds of small, different little communities. That's where we are helping right now 7 days a week. We're sending almost 2,000 meals there every day, distributed over the different communities. At the moment, we're also distributing over 1,000 care packages every week to people, mainly that are in quarantine. The issue right now is that when someone has COVID in a family, that person might or might not go to hospital.